I thought it would be a little bit lower on the
I
increase
know.
today. Predicted 50 points, but it was 75. You know, what are you going to do? I just don't know. These guys keep pushing it. What kind of catastrophic waterfall will come of it down the road? As we know, these things don't take effect overnight. The things that they're doing now take months to play out. And it's not looking good. There's a lot of things
Yeah.
just that are kind of worrisome. It's kind of scary when you sit back and you think about the possibility of what's to come. Especially if they just keep going with it. The UN has already pleaded with them to slow it down a little bit because it's affecting everything globally. And they're not showing any signs of slowing down. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah, they are not. Yeah, and that was an interesting thing is people were wondering if Powell would still mean business and would they go back on their word kind of. And I mean, nobody really thought, and I'll kind of just say this before we get into anything else, but we're recording this Wednesday night, November the 2nd. Bitcoin is just holding on over 20K right now. It's 20, I have 2156 right now. And Ethereum is just over 1500 at the moment. But yeah, it was interesting because really nobody thought that they would be super aggressive this time around as far as, the barometer that we've already set. Nobody really thought they would do something outrageous like 100 basis points or anything. But yeah, Ewok, you said just a couple of weeks ago that you were thinking they would start hedging their bets and go back to just 50. I saw a few other people saying that. There was probably a good 10 to 20%, I would say, of the market was expecting something less than 75. So the fact that we get it again, I said it last week, and I think you said the same, is we thought that we would start to get short-term bullish price action if it was anything 75 and under, of course, under. And we still may. I mean, we're only about 6 hours out or so from the announcement, but we did see an initial charge up right after the news. But this is just my guess, but I think that it sounded like Jerome Powell sounded even extra hawkish in his actual interview and press conference thereafter. So we've seen the market slightly dip since then. I mean, it's nothing outrageous. We're only about 500 or so down for BTC since that time, but we are seeing a dip on the day here. So what do you make of this? And do you think that do you think we still get short-term bullish price action maybe throughout the next couple weeks in November? Or what do you think? Because the thesis that we've been laying out is that we really thought, we've been saying this all years, we thought November would kind of be the ending of this whole thing and maybe get the final biggest drop down this month, maybe after election season. Are you still kind of agreeing with that timeline, or what do you think after this news today?
Well, after today, I think it's more possible. November could be. This could trigger something that it's got to shake out. We'll see how it plays, but hopefully, I'm ready for a bottom. I don't care how low it goes. I just want it to be over with. And I know a lot of people are sharing that same sentiment. Let's get it over and done with so we can move on. But if they keep raising rates, how far is it going to go? And will that cascade down further and further? I don't think the next meeting is until January, right?
Correct. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know the
So
date on that, but yeah, you're right.
who knows? Like, I don't know if this is enough to trigger the final, downturn for the markets so that we can end the bear market. I don't know. I hope so. Like I said, I just want it to be over with and move on, bigger and better things.
Yeah, and I'm fully in agreement with you, and I think a lot of us have felt that way, even if it was kind of a rip off the Band-Aid thing, kind of like what you're saying, like whatever the rate hikes are that we need, go ahead and do them. Let's get this out of the way, even if it's 11K and pray for BTC or whatever it is. Let's just get it over with. But it's just been this crazy, weird, slothy, slow crawl from June until now, to where so many people, and I'm not saying they're wrong. I've been one of them, and I still agree with this opinion, but so many people since June have been saying, no, the lows aren't in, we're going lower and all this. And I do still agree with that. But, when you start to get nearly 6 months out from the June lows, it's only natural to kind of doubt that thesis a little bit. But I'm still of the belief, like you, Ewok, and it sounds like that's what you're saying here tonight, that I don't know that we've seen enough of the real world effects of these rate hikes yet. I just don't know that we have. And it's just making me wonder if it doesn't happen this month or even in December, you always have to change on the fly when it comes to crypto. But I mean, like maybe could we be seeing the lows pushed into 2023 at some point, just based on people's opportunity to react to this? And like you just said, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing, it looks like the FOMC meeting in January 2023 is the 31st of January and February 1st.
So that's a long ways off.
That is a long.
I mean, so there's a couple things that you got to think about. Bear markets traditionally have lasted roughly 364 or 5 days, which is the equivalent of a year, as we know. But this is the first time that a global recession has been taking place during a bear market. So, how will it play out? It's a good question, and how will it change the dynamics of the traditional 4-year cycle? We'll have to kind of wait and see. But like you said, though, I still see it going further. We haven't reached max pain yet. It feels like it. We talked about this a little bit earlier. The psychology of the market. We always try to anticipate where we're at in that cycle.